20-year-old Kaliyah Houston did not survive her injuries, as well as her younger sister, Christasia Prewitt, who is only 16 years old. Now, there was a young man in the home that was 17 years old who was hit as well, but he is expected to survive his injuries, thankfully.
Just keep y'all prayers for the family, the Prewitt and the King family. They was great, and like I said, my oldest niece, she don't left behind 3 children that are young babies, 8 months and 3 months.
The victim.
Other than trying to help him out because he was down on his luck and needed a place to stay.
What does it cost to be kind? Is there a bill that comes due for compassion, a hidden price tag on giving someone a second chance? For 20-year-old Kaliyah Houston of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, that bill arrived on the night of November 10th, 2025, and it was paid for with her life and the life of her 16-year-old sister, Christasia Prewitt. Their story isn't just another headline. It's a brutal lesson in a dangerous social contract, one that asks young women, especially young Black mothers, to be endlessly forgiving, to be the safety net for people everyone else has given up on. How many times have we heard it? He just needed a break. She just has a big heart. But what happens when that big heart meets a bottomless sense of entitlement? When sheltering someone becomes the greatest risk you'll ever take? Before we get into the devastating details of that night, I want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to the True Crime Unraveled community on YouTube and True Crime Unraveled TV on Facebook and TikTok. We see every single comment, every theory, every shared story. You all are why we dig deeper. Keep them coming. And if you're new here and stories that expose the raw, human truths behind the crime scene tape matter to you, hit subscribe and that bell. It's the best way to make sure you never miss a story. So, who is Kaliyah Houston? To reduce her to a victim does her a disservice. She was 20, but in life experience, she was carrying the weight of someone twice her age. A mother of 3 children. The youngest just a baby, only 3 months old. She wasn't just raising her own kids, she was also a guardian to her bubbly, TikTok-loving teenage sister, Christasia. Think about that for a second. At an age when most people are figuring out who they are, Kaliyah's identity was already set in stone. Provider, protector, the cornerstone of an entire tiny universe crammed into an apartment at Woodlawn Manor. In September of 2025, she'd posted online about her new place with pride. New address, new number, loving self, back making my money now. It was a declaration of independence, a hard-won fresh start. And then, into this fragile ecosystem, came 19-year-old Keshawn Woods. By all accounts from the community and investigators, Woods was a familiar archetype. The kind of young man even his own family reportedly struggled with. Drifting, unstable, a collection of excuses wearing a person's shape. He came to Kaliyah with a story we've all heard before, nowhere to go, no one who cared. And Kaliyah, whose entire life was built on the responsibility of holding things together, saw someone falling apart. She let him stay. Just for a little while. Just until he got on his feet. But here's the uncomfortable question that haunts this case. When someone's own mother, their own blood, has drawn a boundary, what does a young woman with 3 babies see that they don't? Is it compassion? Or is it a dangerous societal script that tells women it's their job to fix, to heal, to save? For months, Woods lived in that overcrowded apartment. And instead of gratitude, what did he bring? According to witnesses, tension, a bad attitude, and most critically, a gun. He brought a deadly weapon into a home with an infant, toddlers, and teenagers. Let that sink in. The ultimate symbol of disrespect and danger, parked in the one place that was supposed to be a sanctuary. The entitlement is staggering. You're living rent-free in a young mother's home, surrounded by her children, and your response is to introduce a tool designed for killing. What does that tell you about his regard for her family, for the very roof over his head? By November, Kaliyah had had enough. The fresh start was souring. The chaos was too much. She told him he had to leave. It was her home, her name on the lease, her children's safety on the line. For a man with nothing, being told no is the ultimate insult. Ego is the last currency he has. And, on that Monday night, an argument erupted. Not a long simmering feud, police would later say, but a final confrontation over him needing to go. In that cramped living space, surrounded by the evidence of Kaliyah's hard work, the toys, the baby bottles, Keshawn Woods allegedly pulled out that gun. He didn't just fire. He unleashed that fury on the very family that had taken him in. Kaliyah was killed. Christasia, the 16-year-old sister with prom and graduation ahead of her, was killed. A 17-year-old boy was shot but managed to run, screaming for help into the night. And in the middle of it all, several young children, including that 3-month-old infant. They were physically unharmed. But what did their eyes see? What echoes in their minds now? Police descended on Woodlawn Manor. The scene was one of profound violation. 2 sisters dead in their own home. A survivor fleeing. Children terrified. And the suspect? Gone. He ran. But he didn't get far. The U.S. Marshals Task Force tracked down Keshawn Woods within hours. He was charged with 2 counts of capital murder and 1 count of attempted murder. No bond. A quick arrest, but zero solace. Because the aftermath is where the real tragedy unfolds. The family was left to plan a double funeral. A grandmother now facing the task of burying 2 grandchildren and raising 3 traumatized, motherless babies. The community outcry on social media cut to the bone. One post asked, when did they think it was okay to kill a female? And why none of the old had stepping in? It's a question that burns. This wasn't a mystery. It was a tragedy witnessed, in a sense, by an entire pattern of behavior everyone saw coming. So, where's the unique angle in this? It's not in whodunit. It's in the why that we so often ignore. This is a case study in a specific, devastating form of betrayal. It's about the predator who doesn't lurk in the alley, but on the couch. The one who uses your kindness as a weapon, who views your compassion as weakness. Kaliyah Houston didn't fall for a stranger's slick trap. She fell for a societal expectation that women, particularly Black women, must be pillars of endless support. She tried to help a man that even his own support system couldn't handle. And for that, she and her sister were executed. It forces us to ask hard questions. When do we stop telling young women that their greatest asset is their capacity to forgive and to carry? When do we start telling them that their greatest duty is to their own safety and the safety of their children, even if it means being called heartless for saying no? Keshawn Woods is the obvious villain. But the culture that sets women up to be martyrs for lost cause men? That's a quieter, more insidious accomplice. Kaliyah and Christasia's story is a horrifying reminder. Not all danger kicks your door down. Sometimes you open the door and invite it in because you believe in helping, because you have a heart big enough to try. The ultimate, tragic cost of that belief was everything. Now, I want to hear from you. This case is tragically straightforward legally, but the social dynamics are complex. How do we balance compassion with self-preservation? When does helping someone become enabling a danger? And how do we, as a community, better protect the Kaliyahs of the world before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If this deep dive into the painful truths behind a crime resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps immensely in sharing these important stories. For more investigations that go beyond the headline and into the human heart of the matter, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled and hit the bell. We're here to unravel the stories together. Stay aware and stay safe.
In Tuscaloosa, an aunt spoke to us today about her 2 nieces who were shot and killed last night. A 3rd person shot, now expected to survive. Police are charging Keshawn Woods with 2 counts of capital murder and attempted murder. 20-year-old Kaliyah Houston and her 16-year-old sister were shot during an argument. Investigators say Woods shared an apartment with the sisters at Woodlawn Manor. Their aunt is asking you to pray for their family.
Just keep y'all prayers for the family, the Prewitt and the King family. Yes. They was great, and like I said, my oldest niece, she don't left behind 3 children. There are young babies, 1, 8 months and 3 months. So,
as you heard, investigators say children, including a baby, were in the apartment when that shooting started. Thankfully, they were not hurt.
2 sisters are dead and a teenage boy is recovering. 18-year-old suspect is currently in custody. ABC 3340's Mary Barron joins us live in Tuscaloosa. Hey, Mary, what led to this shooting?
Ashanti, investigators tell me this all started after the suspect was asked to move out. Now, I'm told that Keshawn Woods, 19-year-old who was charged with capital murder, had been living with the victim for several months prior to that shooting.
So we did have several family members on scene that survived and were able to tell us that there was a discussion or maybe a minor argument, absolutely nothing that would predicate something like this. But they were asking him to, move out or leave, or he'd been there long enough without contributing to the household, that type of thing.
Monday night shooting at Woodlawn Manor Apartments in Tuscaloosa has claimed the life of 20-year-old Kaliyah Houston and her 16-year-old sister. A 17-year-old male was also shot but got away to call for help.
Yeah, he's going to survive. Obviously he's injured, but he's going to survive. And
police tell me the suspect, 19-year-old Keshawn Woods, opened fire in the apartment where Houston's infant was present and several young children who were unharmed. Police tell me the suspect had a minor criminal history prior to the shooting and had no relationship with the victim,
other than trying to help him out because he was down on his luck and needed a place to stay.
Hours after the shooting, tenants of Woodlawn Manor Apartments telling me more can be done to ensure safety.
Well, they got cameras out here, so I don't know. I don't know. It's the people, the people have to monitor themselves,
I reached out to Woodlawn Manor to learn if they are aware of the recent and past shootings in the apartment complex, how they plan to address the gun violence, and if the cameras in the complex actually work. Now, I called two numbers listed for the apartment complex and left a voicemail. As of news time, I have yet to get a call back. I even attempted to leave an email by using the email address that was listed on the apartment complex sign and on their website. However, that email address is not valid. Live in Tuscaloosa, I'm Mary Barron, ABC 3340 News.
She gave you a place to stay and you took her and her sister out of here? This is 19-year-old Keshawn Woods, who was given permission to stay at a friend's home for a while because he had nowhere else to go. And on Monday evening, they got into an argument and he decided to go ahead and open fire in the home with multiple people in the home, including children. 20-year-old Kaliyah Houston did not survive her injuries, as well as her younger sister, Christasia Prewitt, who is only 16 years old. Now, there was a young man in the home that was 17 years old who was hit as well, but he is expected to survive his injuries, thankfully. But Kaliyah is a young mom of 3 children under the age of 3, and unfortunately a lot of family stuff is going on for them right now. Their mom was in a coma the day before this actually took place, so she is dealing with medical issues in the hospital, and then their grandmother, Miss Christina, is trying to get funds together to bury her grandbabies. This is quite a difficult time for them. Now, she is asking for any donations that you have on your heart to be sent directly to the funeral home so she can get her grandbabies buried. And please do always remember, if donation is something that is on your heart, it is a private matter and I personally don't need to know. Now, this did happen in Woodlawn Manor, which is in the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area. So if you are in that area, or if you are just willing to donate, please feel free to help out Miss Christina as she is trying to get her grandbabies buried, as she is dealing with the fact that Kaliyah has 3 babies under 3 and their mom is in the hospital at this time dealing with her own health. They have a lot on their plate at this time, and it is the holiday season. So I am sending all of the prayers needed to them as they are in a very difficult time with this loss. Now, this information was sent to me from one of my supporters, and I am absolutely appreciative of that. She is a friend of the family, and I am hoping we are able to rally around each other to help this family bury these 2 young ladies.